Now, as the new year begins, many of us begin to reflect on the past year and think about the goals we want to set for the future. It is a time for renewal, growth, and taking charge of our journey ahead. Now, vision planning allows us to move forward into the year. And joining us today is Lloyd Sikeba, who is a leadership trainer and motivational speaker, to speak to us about the importance of vision planning. Lloyd, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Compliments for the new year.
Compliments for the year as well.
All right. Now, for someone who is hearing about vision planning for the first time ever, what exactly is it and why is it so important to start off with it, especially at the beginning of a new year?
Thank you very much. I think vision planning in itself, yes, it's one of those now mostly world-spoken words, and as well as trending on social media.
Yeah.
Now, for someone hearing it for the first time, vision planning is more of like a process of understanding or clearing out as to where do you want your life to go to, and mapping out as to where do you want to be in the next step, in the next month, and how do you want to get there. So it's basically setting footage for yourself, like, okay, this is where I want to be, and this is why this matters to me.
Yeah. Would you say it shares the same vision as New Year's resolutions, or are those two different things?
It might be intertwined, but there's quite a difference, because New Year resolution is just like, it's more of like things you wanted to do, but now vision planning, now you're now mapping it out, like, okay, this is how we're going to get to that vision. Every vision has a mission, every mission has a goal, every goal has an objective, every objective needs an action plan.
Yeah. How does having a clear personal vision change the way someone approaches their life, their career, and also just their relationships?
Now, when you have a clear vision, it helps you identify as to which areas did you actually lack on, and also which areas you need to improve on.
Yeah.
The purpose of having a vision is also to understand as to, okay, how can I improve myself better? And what is it that I want for myself? And what do I need to do to actually get to that place?
Yeah. Why do you think so many people struggle to define their visions of their lives? Do they not understand, or are we just laid back? We're just like, you know what, we're just going with life as it comes.
Now, it's not that we're just laid back. There is always that fear of failure. Just because things didn't work out well in 2025, now I ask myself, should I still go ahead with this vision? So there's always that fear of failure, and there's also self-doubt. You know, sometimes we doubt ourselves because we feel like this vision is too big for me. If I say that I want to achieve this, I start asking myself like, maybe I should decrease it to 1 rather than actually 500 and all this. And another third one is that of not having clarity. You know, when you don't have clarity of self and also where you want to go, you actually stand to a point where you start feeling like, you know what, maybe this is too much. Let me also just let it go, or it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this something that people are born with, or is it something that people develop over time? Do people need to go for classes to learn how to, you know, just plan out their vision for their lives, or how does it come about?
Now, vision planning is more, it's taught. It's also self-taught, you know. But I would always say that you can always get room to learn from others who have actually achieved it. And why I say this is that you can also do self-taught. When you reflect by yourself, you'll understand as to where did I fall short? And actually, how can I do better this time? And what do I want for myself? But when it comes to it being taught from an external point of view, you get to understand and learn from those that have achieved their goals in the previous year. People that set, you know, consistent objectives and goals, whereby you can also relate, okay, this is how, you know, Lloyd did it. This is how, you know, Brenda did it. How did they get it right within their year? What were the plans that they set for themselves, and what kept them consistent? Now, because I'm learning from an external, it helps me better understand as to what is that one thing I can replicate in my life, in my vision that works best fit for me.
Yeah. Do you think people put so much pressure on themselves when they are planning, you know, when they're doing their vision planning, or perhaps they're just their New Year's resolutions? Because you have instances where, you know, you're just fine, and then the next thing you're writing on your resolution, perhaps, you know, weight loss. So now you have to push yourself to go to the gym, you have to fight it mentally, you have to, you know, hold yourself accountable, you have to be physically, you know, just, you know, ready for it. You need to push yourself. Do you think we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves when it comes to vision planning and also just, you know, the New Year's resolutions?
Very, very much. To an extent, we have placed so much of a label that I need to do this at this point. But I would like to say that rather than saying that I need to do this, do one small habit every single day that gets you closer to that point where you want to be. If it's maybe losing weight, what are you doing now every single day consistently, that helps you get there. It doesn't mean that, yes, I need to be in the gym 24/7.
Yeah.
It might just be as treating myself with care and love. That is health as well. So it's also a win-win situation. And also, when it comes to the pressure, the pressure also comes from, the aspect of comparison and also looking at what other people's lives look like. And we tend to forget the beauty of what we have and also the vision and the calling or the principle that we have upon our life. So rather than actually saying that, okay, let me not pressure myself, let me time myself according to my pace. Yes, someone out there might be running at the full speed of 100 kilometers per hour, but if my vision will require me to take 60 kilometers per hour, that's my pace.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we are not all going to reach the finish line. The goal is I reach the finish line knowing that, okay, last year I didn't have a six-pack. This year, okay, there's one pack. That's a goal.
When it comes to vision planning, is it important to write it down or do we just think about it?
The best teaching, that is Habakkuk 2 verse 2, write it down so that, and the Bible teaches us so that he that finds the vision may run with it. So I always say that, you see, if your vision is not written down, then how do you expect to keep yourself accountable?
Yeah.
When you write down your vision and you always even have it pasted somewhere or you even have it on your phone or someone knows about your vision, there will always be that reminder and say that, hey, you said you wanted to work on this.
True.
I remember when I wrote a vision for myself that I want to work on my body. A friend of mine always remind me like, the way you're eating, Lloyd, is this the vision that you really want for yourself? Because they understand it. And also another vision is also something that I've written upon myself, like for my life, okay, this is what I want to achieve. These are the books I need to read. So because I always see it, it reminds me more of like, hey, you told yourself you want this. And rather than it just being in the mind. When it's in your mind, you forget it. But when it's written down, you remember it and you see it, it will disturb you to act upon it.
Yeah, we definitely see those muscles, Lloyd. But what role does self-discipline actually play when it comes to, turning some of these visions into a reality? I mean, you have sometimes, instances where things are just coming easily, just on a silver platter. You want something, you think about it, and then you're like, actually didn't work hard for this, and then you have other people who are working, hard for it. But, it's life, that is actually how life goes. But what role does self-discipline actually play when it comes to turning a vision into a reality?
Now, self-discipline is one of the highest priorities that one should focus on. Yes, motivation will come and go, but discipline keeps you staying where you are and also staying at the game hardest. Now, when it comes to self-discipline, this is whereby you need to understand that if I'm not going to do it, no one else will. And no one else is coming to wake you up in the morning or in the night to do what your vision or what you want.
So we shouldn't even count on our accountability partners.
Accountability partners are okay. By the end of the day, this work needs to be done by you.
True.
An accountability partner is more of like a voice that tells you, hey, wake up. It's like that alarm that we always press on snooze button and consistently. But at the end of the day, you need to understand as to why do I need to wake up? How hungry am I to go for this vision? How hungry am I to actually achieve this? Because if I'm not that hungry enough, then the discipline is lacking towards what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
Then whatever I want to achieve, whatever vision it is, it won't be attainable.
Yeah. Lloyd, easier said than done sometimes with this life is it comes with challenges.
Yes.
Sometimes it starts, becoming stagnant. At some point you feel like, it's just slow, nothing is working out for me. But when someone is going through some of these life challenges, what are some of the ways that you can perhaps, recommend to us just to stay, motivated throughout?
First things first is go easy on yourself. Yes, the pressure of the world, the pressure of society, the pressure of friends, your cycle in terms of vision planning might be very high. You might hear people saying that, no, we're doing our vision year plan for January and so forth. I always say that each and everyone's vision is different. Your vision might only start being, in action in June, or my vision might only start being in action in February. That doesn't mean I should put myself on so much pressure on a pedestal that I need to do this now.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to have the goal. I need to have where I'm going to. But it helps me, that is, propel me into the next step. Now, when it comes to someone that's feeling like, what's really happening? What I would say is that, number one is reflect, all right? Look back and say that, okay, what is it that I really want to work on this year? Why do I really want to work on it this year? What worked well, what didn't work well? After that, I must identify areas that I need to move on and actually project myself into what I can actually do better in. And after I've identified that, identify the areas you want to work on. Because when you're working on a vision, if you don't understand as to why am I working on this now, and how can I make it easier work for me, rather than it working just because I just have to find myself in the process, it becomes very hard.
Yeah. How does your vision board looks like?
My vision board looks very, very, very dangerous in a good way.
Okay.
So
Do you also cut out pictures from the magazines and paste them?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily put it in that context.
Yeah.
So I'm very intentional about my work and what I do. And you know, I always tell myself that if you want to treat yourself like an international millionaire or billionaire, you need to act like one. So my vision board is more very corporate locative. It looks like a whole profile for a company. Like, what is the vision for this year? What are the areas we need to work on? What are the areas that we fell short on? What are the things we need to learn? What are the foods we need to eat? What are the environment and spaces we need to be in? But most overall, it's also being intentional with God and also whatever I do. If it doesn't involve Him, I'm not present. That's one of my vision for this year. So it's also principles that set you apart from just what other people are doing. There is nothing wrong with cutting pictures. You know, they say our minds operate very beautifully in terms of visuals. I'm much more of a reader, so every time I'd like to reflect back, and when I look at a document, I'm like, what does this document say? Yeah.
All right. What is that one powerful habit that everyone should adopt this year just to move closer to their vision?
I think the one powerful habit I would say is just do it. You know, just do it. Do it when you are tired. Do it when you lose motivation. Do it when you feel like you can't. Because sometimes we have vision set for ourselves, but we don't even go ahead and do what we've set for ourselves. There are times when you feel exhausted, but you know that, okay, maybe I need to read one chapter because it's part of the vision. It's something that you set for yourself. Because it's something that you set for yourself, there will be times whereby you will slake. And the moment you just allow just that little bit of moment to actually step backwards, then you disrupt the whole process. Yeah.
I love to call Mondays Motivational Mondays right here on Good Morning Namibia. So if you're to motivate our viewers this morning, what will be some of your words of encouragement to them?
My word of encouragement is very simple. Every vision starts within the mind. And because it starts within the mind, it needs you to take that, is to bring it into reality. No one is going to see that vision for you. If you want something so bad, you have to do what other people are not willing to do. How bad do you want that vision? How willing are you? How bad do you want to wake up at 4 a.m. or actually to sleep late at night just to see that vision come to fruition? Secondly is that not everything might come out as planned as how you want it to be, but just keep the faith, keep moving. It might not happen today, but what matters is that it's going to happen and you're in that process. And also put God first, You know, whatever you set yourself, whatever vision you set, have that one alignment that you say that not by when my strength fails, please take over.
Well, Lloyd, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope everything on your vision board goes according to plan.
Thank you very much.